Hi, everybody. How are you doing? I'm Dr. Gail, and this is Val of the Dragonfly Crystals. Thanks for joining us today. And
Yay. I'm delighted to be here with you.
thanks. It's always a pleasure having you. We're doing this like once a month, and
Yeah.
we never know whose channel. It's not who. It's me. I'm always confusing which channel is going. Forgive me, my allergies are acting up today, so I'll be dotting at my I, and usually that means my guides are really here and present, and they're really happy about the conversation that we're going to
They
have.
definitely are.
Yes.
On
And
my side, too.
on your side too. And usually, they're really, I'm almost thinking that when my eyes are watering, that means they're getting crowded in my head or over my head.
Yeah.
Usually when I have these shows, I have my two standard guides that show up. But
Mhm.
sometimes when I'm doing a show, I have a lot of them show up. And I think that's a lot of times when my eyes start watering, when I've got all this information going
Yeah.
into my head. And so today we will be talking about the Arcturians. And we didn't know that we were going to be talking to the about the Arcturians until 15 minutes ago. And how, Val, you talk about your validation.
Yeah. And so I got up this morning and I came over to turn my computer on and I noticed that in my bookshelf, this little bookmark was hanging off my bookshelf, the top shelf. It was just hanging down. And I go, well, that's weird. What's that hanging down there for? Which book is that? And I got the book out and it's the keys to the Arcturians. And I'm going, well, I was almost going to put it back on the shelf, but I said, oh no, there's something I'm supposed to be looking at this. And it opened up to the time shift page. So these are all Arcturian. They're like activation codes of light for many different things. And one of them is time shifts. And it opened up to that page. But yeah, what is our topic today?
The Arcturians. And I have.
I didn't say anything to you. You said it to me, and I'm going, oh, okay.
I said, I think we're going to be talking about the Arcturians today, and I'm not sure why, but my cards that I use for the Arcturians are the sacred geometry cards.
And you here's the funny thing. You told me go ahead and get this. I did, and did you know? While we were talking before, I already picked 3 cards.
And what are the
and the next thing you do is hold that up. So I mean, that's extra validation of what we're talking about.
So what are those 3 cards? Are they 3 hours?
My 3 cards that got pulled is the third eye chakra.
Okay.
And the transit, well, let me just say, and this is about the frequency, obviously, of the third eye, indigo flower of life, and our intuition, our inner knowing, our imagination, our psychic powers. So, of course, as you think about this book too, all of these are topics for you to open up and receive information from out of this book, The Keys of the Arcturians. Transition is the next one. And transition is the frequency that supports deep understanding of the ever-changing nature and of our existence and our lives. So this transition we're all going through, we're living through this. So third eye, living through this transition so that we learn to let go and surrender to what is happening here in the world and our process, allowing that transition to occur with ease and grace. So there we are, right in the middle of it. And the third card is emergence.
Oh my God.
You can't make this up.
Well, I've been saying that I knew something big was happening in September, and that we're going to go through and calm down by December.
Yes.
So those cards are very appropriate for what I've been seeing.
They really are. And it says the emergence invites the approach to us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment. So that's lose your cynical or what shall we say, our nature, our skepticism or whatever. Just be open to what is And don't judge things, because more wonderment will occur, synchronicities, things that seem like miracles. And watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place, that energy of open innocence of what is in front of you opens it up. So this is the recipe for this timing.
Yeah.
That is the recipe that they're telling us about.
Well, September's almost over, and I keep going, oh, when is this big whatever is going to happen? And I'm still getting it very strongly. So how many more days do we have left in September? Not many.
Not many.
Yeah.
Not many.
Let me say hello to some people that are here.
Okay.
Hey, Sarah. Hey, Dream Journey 1. Hey, Liz Daly. Hey, Debbie, 3 Shifting Veils. Thanks for joining us today. Hey, In-Car. Hey, Marshall's Perfect Health. Oh, gosh, I love that. Hey, Diane G. Let's see. Hey, Aquila. Hey, Butterflies are free. Oh, that's good. Butterflies are free. That's great. And hi, did someone say shenanigans? Oh my gosh, I'm loving these names. I love it. Hey, Sharon from Strawberry Rhubarb Tarot. Thanks for joining us today. Hey, Laura Huntsinger. Hey, Diane G. Hey, Hypnicity. Hey, Valerie. And let's see. Hey, Daffy Ross and Rose Blue. Hey, Son of Watt. Thanks for joining us today. Okay, and I'm getting ready to butcher this one. Leah Salva. I hope I said that right. Thanks for being here. Hey, Annie Hamlet. Hey, Kathleen Garrison. Let's see who else. Hey, Hypnicity. Hey, Cindy L. Hey, Interplanet Janet. Boy, you were in the right place.
I totally like that name.
Yes. And that's funny. It was my second book is about being an interplanetary liaison. And so, and I've been having trouble trying to figure out how to spell it. I'm a terrible speller. I'm going, I'm maybe not need to make that the title of the book since you're struggling with spelling it. Hey, Glenda. Hey, Michelle. Thanks for joining us today. And we will be taking questions probably about the last half of the show. Hey, Debbie Giesemann. I hope I said that right. Hey, Jean Bowles. Who else is here? I think I might have gotten everybody. Thanks for everybody for joining us today on this Wednesday. It's afternoon. Well, I guess it's afternoon across the whole U.S. right now. Yes. So thanks for joining us. And we're going to be talking about the Arcturians. I will go back later and put in the shows about Arcturians. I think lately that's what I've been doing is seeing where the show goes and then going and title. Put a title on it here.
Smart.
And so anyway, we're going to be talking about Arcturians, and I'm coming from a different place of Arcturians because my experiences, my personal experiences with them, I'll be talking about. And Val has very much of the metaphysical part of that, which mine, it seems like all my experiences are personal experiences, contact with them. And I am like behind on the metaphysical part of it, is more so than a lot of people. Mine are always personal contacts or personal interactions with them. And like, I'll give an example. From our rescue missions, we would go for the Arcturians, and the Arcturians had trouble breathing on Earth. Now, they have a special cream that they put all over their bodies so they can come to Earth and breathe. But when they're captured, they run out of the cream, or they don't have the cream, or something happens, and they start having breathing issues when they're here. And it's usually within 2 or 3 months that they're here on Earth that they start getting in trouble. So that's a very common thing for us to go in when we're rescuing the sick or dying ETs from these Area 51 type places, which there's a lot of places in the Midwest, all the way down and into Mexico, that do house these ETs that have been captured. And so that is part of what I do. And I've done a lot of rescue missions with them. And also, I am human Arcturian hybrid. If y'all don't know what hybrids are, that is a combination with the ET DNA in with the human DNA. whatever you look like is what they call you. Like I look like a human, so I'm called a human hybrid. If I look like an Arcturian, I'd be considered an Arcturian hybrid. And that's how they identify it. And my first spaceship that I worked on, which was the Astral Medical One, was a hybrid spaceship. When it was every kind of combination you could think of. Everybody was a hybrid on there. And so I got stories and stories and stories, which is going to be in my first book, all about those type of things, and my experiences with all the different type of species will be in either my first or second book. I'm not sure which. So it'll come out somewhere in there. It'll be a crossover. But
well, we're looking forward to that.
I know I'm just going, when is it, how am I going to ever have it out? But I'm going to let you take over on your part of it, on the Arcturians. And
okay.
then
yeah, I mean, my experience with the Arcturians was started about 40 years ago, really, or no, we'll say it started 25 years ago, really. I was sitting down to meditation one day, and I felt this downpouring or download of information while I was meditating. And I got this feeling, an impression of like a ship over my house kind of thing. But I received this activation. This light shot down through my crown, hit my pineal gland, and then radiated out to every cell in my body. And there is something like information being triggered or switches being turned on. It was like that. And inside of all these cells, all these DNA cells that were turned on, I felt them vibrate at a very rapid rate, just vibrating so much that my body was shaking. And then it shot out like a big explosion out into the universe, almost like those are the strands and strings of light that connect you to some higher grid, because we're all connected energetically anyway, but you have different levels of that connection or vibration. And so that happened to me, and it was so profound that it was like one of those experiences where you literally feel like I mean, I could have been on the ship having it happen. I could have been anywhere. But in my mind, I'm still sitting there in meditation. But it was profound, life-changing, and I've never forgotten it. In fact, I based the Eye of Horus activation. Why did I call it Eye of Horus? Because at the same time I'm doing all this, I'm really seeing through the keys of Enoch, the Eye of Ra and the Eye of Horus, the left and right eye, is the information to the higher.
Well, do you know what the Arcturian spaceship looks like? It's one of my favorite ones. And I don't
know, because it was just in my, I just felt in your world. I felt the energy, this energy above my house. That's all I know. Yeah. I never got the rest of it.
Well, that spaceship is, the colors inside were just amazing. They're like blues and purples, and they have like little places where there's amber coloring, like a knob or something. They don't have knobs, but anyway, just kind of like that. What's the most amazing thing about it is how quiet that spaceship is, because everybody's telepathic. Yeah. And because it's telepathic, humans like myself being on a spaceship sounds like an old clobhopper going through, boom, 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 through there. And they had called me several times up there to help them. And it's usually the medical side of it that I was always called in to help. Usually it was a human that they had rescued, and they would call me in to come help this human. One of them was a big job that I had to do, was a human that had gotten caught in time travel. And when I walked in, he was in a big ball, and his name was Eric. His human body was in a ball, and they were rolling up the ramp trying to get him into the infirmary to start working on him. And I didn't know what it was. I ran over to try to help them, just to help them. And I saw this little red flick of hair coming out and a mouth start moving. "Hi, Doc, my name is Eric." And I'm freaking out going, this is a human in a ball. But he'd gotten caught up in time travel. And anyway, so I had to help him. And of course, it was a lot of energy work, and I had to do a lot of work with him and to get him back to his regular form and take him back home. But he had been going to Mars. This was his third time to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever they go to Mars, I think it's either 20 or 30 years equals like a day on Earth. So, yeah. So like on Mars, he was like 90 years old. And then on Earth, he was in like his 20s, early 30s. And it was pretty amazing. But that was one of my experiences on the Arcturian spaceship. But the thing is they're so quiet and we're so noisy, just almost like our breathing was noisy to them.
Yeah, and I know we have noisy minds to them.
Yeah.
Because we just never, our thoughts don't necessarily turn off. And yeah, they aren't like that with their just random thought thing happening.
Yes. So anyway, I mean, that was actually, was having experiences on the Arcturian spaceship before I knew that I was an Arcturian or a hybrid Arcturian. Yeah, and I didn't know that at the time when I was going in there and helping them. I bet they wished I had the Arcturian part more.
When did you find out? When did you know for sure?
I did not know when I was working on the ASTAR Medical One was my first spaceship that I actually physically worked on. Now I had my own little private spaceship that I was doing rescue missions, which I called it my little ambulance because they had named it the Slime, and I'm not sure why they named it the Slime. I didn't like that. And so, since it was my spaceship and my rescue spaceship, but I just decided to make it my ambulance, like, I'm just going to get things. So I called it my little ambulance. And but when I eventually worked on, specifically was working on the ASTAR Medical One, and it was getting part of the planning of the rescue missions, the captain one day was giving me a little bit of an orientation. His name was T-Tom, and he was a gray hybrid. And he was saying, as I was leaving the office from him, when we were talking about some things, he said, everybody who we work on the spaceship is a hybrid. Everybody who works on the spaceship's a hybrid. And I'm walking out the door, and I'm the only human at that time working on the spaceship. And I walked out and went, wait a minute. I work on the spaceship. What? I'm a hybrid? It took me days
for you to really integrate that information.
It really did. It really shocked me that that I'm thinking that I'm the kind of the odd one, which I still was the odd one because I was the only human looking one at that time. But I'm thinking that all these are just strange and we're working on it, and I'm the human coming up and helping, but to find out that I was part of them, that I was one of them, that I was actually a hybrid. And then it took, I don't know, maybe a week or so later that my mother, who had passed away, came to me and explained the whole process of that she couldn't get pregnant. She made the agreement that if they would, that she would have a hybrid, if she could have a child, and then the next child would be a normal child. So they allow you to have a hybrid child and then a normal child. And so she came to me, explained the whole thing, that my mother and father were still my mother and father, but they had put Arcturian DNA in there. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
So anyway, that's how I found out all the details. Now, before even all this was happening, I was actually doing some of this, taking hybrid children to Earth for parents to raise the hybrid children. Part of that whole system also, where one day I walked in to the office and they handed me a baby, and I'm sitting there going, am I supposed to raise this? I mean, it looked human. What am I supposed to be doing with this baby? And they said, no, you're taking it to a family in California. So anyway, so I had to spend a whole day in California explaining all this about the hybrid children, where you agreed to take it, and adoption papers and making it look legal and all that kind of stuff. So of course, I have many stories about all that, but that was probably one of my most fulfilling things to do, is to take a hybrid child to parents that can't have children.
Yeah.
And then after they would agree to take on the hybrid child, then we could let them have their own child after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And there's so many really stories that people have that corroborate that, their own personal stories. I've heard so many about how either they found out they were a hybrid from their parents were in this program and all this stuff, so yeah, it's pretty amazing that it's out there. So many people, there's a lot of hybrids here now.
right. And it made me realize, because exactly that, I was going, how many people have you heard about adopting a child and then all of a sudden get pregnant with their own child? And I'm going, you hear that all the time. And here it is. I'm part of this.
Yes, that's pretty amazing.
It was pretty amazing. And the hybrid children had to be on a special formula for a year.
Oh.
We had to provide that formula for them, and it was getting them used to, there was a lot of strict rules for them adopting the hybrid child.
Yeah.
And but anyway, that was one of my favorite things that I did, was working with that.
I can imagine. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, actually.
And you just don't know who's a hybrid and who. When they're human hybrid, you can't tell really.
Well, I just saw a show on Gaia. I know y'all hear me talking about Gaia, but just today, it was a lady who is in the Navy, higher up ranking. Yeah. And she talked about how the ETs can come down and that they have a gadget on them and can look human, and they can live here for 3 months looking human. Did you see the show?
No, I didn't see that show, but I do know for sure that they have these programs where they actually, and I think they were saying it was at Groom Lake or Area 51. I don't know which, right. But they are somewhere else maybe. But they put you through this, they go into this building and they come out and they're all, they're unidentifiable between being from somewhere else or just an earthling. And they're in a program where they just come down and spend, like you said, like 3 months or whatever. It's almost like an exchange program, but they have it all set up. It's all organized. And so there's so many people working in offices, working in the government, working all over the place, and they're not.
Right. But she was showing you what they wear. They actually wear this, so they look human. And, I had my experience at the dog park.
They look human.
I went down, and a brother and sister came down to the dog park. They didn't have a car. They didn't have a dog. And they walked into the dog park, and they didn't close a gate. And my thought was, you need to close that gate, so my dog doesn't get out. Well, they got up and went and closed the gate. And then the girl came and sat down right next to me on my bench. And I'm going, gosh, she's sitting awfully close to me. There's plenty of places to sit. Why is she sitting right next to me?
They don't have that understanding of space.
Yeah, they don't have any of that, but she could telepathically knew what I was saying and jumped up and moved over. I didn't recognize any of this to the next day. And then the biggest thing that they did, and they were talking to me, the brother stood up and was talking to me, and she moved over to another table, and then she started playing with my dog and started throwing a ball for her. My dog does not chase balls. She was after that ball coming back, giving it to her, taking it back, and I'm sitting there going, my dog's going to have a heart attack. She's never exercised that much. and then all of a sudden,
I'm sure there's a lot of telepathic communication going on between.
Yes, exactly. That's what was happening.
You just couldn't hear it.
But then she stopped. Immediately stopped. Yeah. It was so abruptly. And then they started talking to me. Both of them were standing there, and they started. And it's warm outside. They started talking about coats. It was the oddest conversation. And now in my mind, I'm going, wow, these are really star seeds. Whoa, these are, they're on the spectrum, kind of because they were so young. And so the next day, and I left, and I immediately, when they started getting like that, I'm going, I'm going to get out of here. And so I got out of there. And then the very next day, when I was driving my car, it hit me when I was at a stoplight. I went, holy crap. I had just said the week before, I'm ready to meet an ET.
And
Just,
you did. And you
and just,
it didn't dawn on you
yeah,
necessarily.
and I said, don't,
These weird people were.
yeah, and the other thing was, don't scare me. I'm ready to meet an ET. Don't scare me.
And
And
they
sure enough, here they
And
come.
you know, it's funny the what you were talking about. They can go to these places, get their hair cut, you know, because they usually have longer hair, even the men, and they got their hair cut. They got, you know, sort of earthlingized with, but she still didn't know she wasn't supposed to sit in zero space next to you, or there's
Yeah,
just these little things that are not exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
but it was the next day, as I said, it hit me, went, oh my gosh, they were reading my mind. You know,
yeah,
she went and closed the gate. She sat
yeah.
next to me and jumped up and moved, and then went
Yes.
throwing the
Yeah.
ball to the dog, but she never does that. So
Yep,
she's,
those are all that's all evidence to give you the knowledge later that yes, indeed, they answered your request
just,
in a big
if I
way,
had,
actually.
if I had known it, if I had known it at that time, I could have asked questions.
Of
But
course you could have, but you know
I
what?
was
I
in
don't
the
think you were
house.
meant to. Yeah, I somehow I don't think you were meant to. That was just an introduction, and then later you go, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Yes. And they, yeah. And I think also I felt like it was almost a test for them too, to see how far could they get before I'm sitting there going, I don't know about
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're right about that. It's kind of a yeah, two-way street that way. Uh,
Yeah. So, I had it was answered for me. Do you have anything else to say about the Arcturians?
the Arcturians, I've had a lot of channeling from the Arcturians, and it's always this amazing wisdom and information. They do talk a lot about technology, but their technology, as they talk to me, are about ways in which you can utilize the energies, uh, everything that you want to do inside of yourself as far as activations, initiations, you're the one doing it. So, in fact, you can activate yourself. You can initiate yourself. You can create the openings and be in that divine source light that you are while you're here, just by simply being that, being that light. It's they're very to the point, and they don't really waste their information or words, and they'll only tell you what can help you and progress you to be these creator gods that we are down here in training, which is what we are.
And
And so I love I I love it. I love it. So the Arcturian connection, I feel my connection with them um, in a way, in a kind of a like they're my ancient family. I don't even know how to describe it, but they've always been there, but I didn't know it. I didn't realize it. And so they're always there when I want to call and talk to them, but they're so advanced. They're so advanced that it's only through my ego mind, my 3D mind that well, hopefully I'm advancing beyond 3D, but what I filter, how it filters through, I'm not getting all of it. I'm not getting everything because I have to filter. And my biggest thing is to ask for that filter to be to be erased so that I can really get what they're saying. That's what I ask for now is to receive information that is clear without that filter.
Now, my first ET that I met was an Arcturian, descended of Arcturians. And she was a little bitty thing, about 5 feet tall, thin, but she had like a jello head. It would look like a
Mhm.
crown, but it shook
Mhm.
when she laughed, and she was a little chatty Cathy. when I talked to her about her being an Arcturian, she was going, "Oh, no, 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 no." I can't remember what race they are or what species, but she was saying, "We're descended of them," but basically she was saying we're better than them.
Oh,
It
oh,
was most of the words she used, but
oh,
my human interpretation was that they were further advanced than the Arcturians, and I just kind of laughed about it. But as I said, that was my human interpretation. That's not at all what she meant.
yeah,
All right, you ready to answer some questions?
yeah, sure.
I've starred 16, which we won't get to
Oh,
that.
okay,
So let's
very
see.
good.
And everybody, it's me starting the questions. And if we go out of order, it's not on purpose. I didn't mean to miss you. So don't get your feelings hurt if it's all over the place and I didn't get it. But we're going to start off with NCAR.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Dr. Gail, Val, Susie, and everyone. If you're taking questions, any messages from me from above, thank you. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm going to pull a card for that. And I'm going to pull out of my Starseed Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell. And let's see what message I have for you. If I can pull it. Pull it up here. And I'm getting Star Keeper. Oh, that's a pretty card. That's almost like an Arcturian spaceship. Yeah, that was like, it says, Cosmic Ancestor, seed the light by staying grounded. All right, so you're a star keeper, but they're asking you to stay connected to Earth because you're more comfortable in car being up there above, out there in the stars, just like I am. So it's a chore to stay grounded, stay connected to Earth. And that's what we're here for, is to have the Earth experience. And so they're asking you to do some more grounding to stay connected, because our work is here on Earth, because we want to be off Earth. That's what we signed up for. We came here to help us transition into a different dimension. And so anyway, NCAR, you need to get a little bit more grounded and stay on Earth. All right,
Yeah,
Val.
I like that. I like that. And so NCAR, I got the message, use the light. This was from the Arcturians. Use the light to activate your heart seed. And so I got the vision of the light coming down through your crown. Just bring it in. And there is a heart seed. And apparently once that is cracked open and illuminated, it will spread out like crazy and you'll feel the difference. But this is also what I pulled for you. And this is your code, light code information from the Arcturians for the energy of release that shows the real you and takes away your prejudices about you. That's self-love. This way, and by your altered thought patterns, your brain triggers your DNA to further develop itself. And so again,
yeah, so you show that again, because right now what I saw immediately is a string of pearls as being given to her as a gift.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's real important in NCAR, but you're being given this gift. And so I think you've got a new gift coming in, or a new connection coming, and a string of pearls. Beautiful.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's exciting. So, NCAR, if you're here, I don't see her talking right now. She must put a question in early. So, all right, let's go to the next.
Oh, yeah, she said thank you, Dr. Gail and Val.
No, you're welcome.
Okay, you're welcome.
So let us know about those string of pearls that you're being given as a gift. I want to know, it's Arcturians giving you that string of pearls. So this is going to be interesting to see what that is.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Hypnosis. Seems like 50% of Americans will be celebrating the election results, which means 50% will be sad. How do we support each other as we move forward? I really don't participate in that election. And the reason why, it's not like I'm not interested or anything, but several years ago when we were going through all this, they pulled me out of the earthly ties and showed me how they look at everything. And this is going to sound a little cruel, or I don't, not cruel, but how they look, but I'll say it anyway. I'm not sure how to say this nicely. They look at us like when we look at ants, and ants are fighting, they look at us as like, that's a colony of ants fighting. You just walk on by. And it's not like you're not really interested in them, but it's not really affecting you. So they pull me out to have me start looking at things a little more like that, to have a different perspective on those things. So I don't get as emotionally involved in these things. And so, Val, you're probably more able to answer that, because my thoughts or my way I look at these things are different than a lot of people, since they pulled me out and showed me that.
I totally agree with you. The Arcturians are saying unity consciousness. So unity consciousness. So that is the oneness. And that is exactly what we are going toward in this higher frequency energy, is a shift to the oneness, a shift to at one-ment. And this is what I got for you, Hypnicity. This is called forgiveness. And you can notice anytime there's division or an idea of separateness, that is an illusion. We are not separate. We're one. We're one being. From, you can say, the body of God. We're one. We're in unity. So that is the truth. So this is forgiveness from the Arcturians. And it is about, it helps you to find the strength to forgive yourself for whatever judgment you impose upon yourself. And you asked about this for others, and this is to everyone. Forgive yourself because you act based upon the knowledge you have at a certain moment in time. You can do no wrong, because after all, this is an earth school. I'm saying this. Forgiveness shows you there is nothing to forgive, because we all know when we're in our energetic body, we were here enjoying ourselves, having the contrast. We see our bliss, we feel our bliss, but then we get to forget and experience what it's like to have jealousy, what it's like to have competitiveness. Then we understand how beautiful bliss and unity is. So there it is again. This is forgiveness. And the real truth is this small this earth school. Yeah, this earth school shows us the illusion of these things. It's a story. It's not real. So for you to get involved in the drama of these little insignificant things in the way in which Dr. Gail is showing you in the perspective of the overall universe, multiverse, that's just 1 nanosecond, not even a nanosecond of time. And these people will evolve, kind of thing. So, I mean, eventually. But so you holding unity consciousness is the way to help others. You be that unity consciousness mirror. You are that unity consciousness. Just be it. Embody that light. Imagine yourself as that light that is you in a formless state on the other side. And picture you being that right now. And hold that in your awareness as long as you can. And then when you go to another awareness, bring it back. So that's what they say. Okay.
Yeah. Heavenly Bliss. She wants to know what deck you're using, which is not a deck. She wants to know what you're using.
This is called the Keys of the Arcturians. And you really can't see the title. It's embossed on the book. But it's, I don't even know if it's still available, because I got it probably 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So this was presented to the United Nations. I didn't even realize that when I got it, but these are the Arcturian, they're codes of information for different things, and you stare at it and you get activated.
Right. Like our cards. Laura's saying our challenge is to reflect the oneness in our material, which is true. And it's not that I'm oblivious to what's happening, because I'm always being bombarded by friends calling me going, this is what happened with this is what happened on the politics. And I'm having, and I know it's like a test for me. Don't let your body go there. Cause I was all involved in it back in 2020, whatever. And so I have to really pull myself in and looking at us all as one.
Yeah.
I have to pull my energy back from and looking at it as perspective. And it also helps that person who's talking to me about all these things. And I'm having to explain to them how should be looking at it as we're all one.
And as you embody that state of consciousness for that person, you are the mirror for that person to see, oh, that's my natural state. That's my state. So the highest thing you can do for anyone is to embody that unity consciousness, that state, because that energy it informs the world. It informs the world. If you concentrate on drama, trauma, blah, 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 you're lowering your vibration and saying something different to the world, because all of our energy, thoughts, and information go out into the ether. What do you want to inform the world of? Unity. What do you want in front of you? Unity consciousness. Call it anything you want, but it is that oneness that we know we are one.
Yeah, and so Missy says, I think pulling away from politics will suit me fine. Yeah, it's pulling away, but also it's looking at it differently. It's almost like looking at above at it and not in it. Looking at it, but not in it, I would say, is the best way to try to trying to respond to that, because you can't put your head in the sand and not know what's going on, but you don't have to be so emotionally, physically involved in angst and whatever that is causing you to pull yourself out of it. And this goes, it's the same thing with your family. Mm-hmm. Having family drama, you can, like Dina's saying, she's saying detach. You can detach from that feeling and that engagement of what you're so used to doing, and pull yourself out and make yourself look at it from above. Like you're looking at yourself, having that conversation.
It's observer mode, right, Dr. Gail? You're just observing what's going on. You're not going to be part of the yin and yang of it, the dialectic thinking, this right, wrong, black, white.
Right.
You're just going to stay neutral in the observer mode.
Right. And also when you move yourself, if you're having family conflict, to the observer mode, watching, it's amazing how the total energy of the dynamics of the whole family changes. If you change yourself and change to looking like that, a whole dynamics changes. And it's because, and you look at it going, that was so easy. Why didn't I do that years ago?
It's true. So it's extremely accurate.
Yeah.
How powerful that is. Yeah.
All right, let's go to our next one here. Did someone say shenanigans? I love that name. If you're taking questions today, could you please ask my spirit guide if she has a message for me, or if there's a message from me from the Athena? Okay. Well, I'm going to pull out of my sacred geometry activation card. And I consider this, as I said, it's the my Arcturian cards, and the Athena is an Arcturian spaceship. That was my second spaceship that I worked on, is the Athena, and I'm extremely comfortable on that spaceship. So that's, as I said, that's one of my favorite spaceships is Arcturian, and that was before, when I was going rescue missions, I was taking the ETs that I rescued to the Greys. I was taking the reptilians, the Palladians, whatever I was rescuing, I'd take it to their spaceship. The reptilians were the hardest ones to let me in and see their spaceship, but they eventually did. But the Arcturians all the time were always my favorite. And then finally I got to work on the Athena. So what I have pulled out is sacral chakra, the sacral chakra. And it's saying the frequency of the sacral chakra, the orange flower of life, supports our ability to flow with our desires and stimulates our creative power to manifest success and abundance in our lives. So, wow, manifesting basically is what this card's all about. So it is time for you to really take manifesting seriously is what they're saying. And I think this might be a message for everybody that we've been talking about manifesting. We're all like, manifesting's over there, can we do it? We have the ability to do that. And we have that ability to do it as a collective, to manifest whatever it is that you're wanting in your life. Now, the thing is you've got to decide what you want in your life, be very specific. That's what they're telling me. They're saying, just don't be willy-nilly about your manifestations. They're saying, be specific about your manifestations. And they're also saying, try something small first. Don't go in, and what they're showing me is, don't go in and say, this is a house I want, this is a car I want, this is a life I want, which is a good big picture thinking. But what they're saying is start with something small. Learn how to manifest. Learn how to do it, and then build on it, which I didn't know this. I always thought we were supposed to write out everything you want in your whole life. But they're saying, start off with something small, learn how to manifest, then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's something I didn't know about either. I didn't know that.
That makes sense. Makes sense. And then you'll believe that you are able to manifest whatever it is that you hold in your awareness.
Right. It's almost like they're saying the small manifestation is almost like, oh, here's your reward. This is a validation that it works. So now I can go to the next step and do something.
Exactly.
And so, it seems like to me, we're always taught to have your big dream, everything, and we're going to manifest. But they're saying start off with something small to give an affirmation to your own self that it works.
That's right.
And now I got to think of myself as something small to start with.
I know, me too. I've got to go figure out what it is. Well, I manifested my trip to the UK, so I'm good. Yay! So this is what I heard. Did someone say shenanigans? You are having a higher heart activation. It is happening. And this is something that it is happening. This is what they're saying. And then I got, this is freedom. So this is the Arcturian code, light code information for freedom. And it says, the energy of freedom helps us to reach our own freedom. We often search for freedom outside of ourselves, which causes us to feel locked up and stuck. Freedom has nothing to do with the circumstances surrounding us. It is an emotion that we can only find within ourselves, that freedom. So no matter where you are free. And this is your light code.
She's saying her heart chakra just got put back together, and it makes sense.
Yeah, because that's the first thing they said to me is, tell her she's having a higher heart activation.
And then she'll be able to start manifesting for sure.
Absolutely.
So there you go. That's wonderful. All right. But I still want to know that little, start off little. I think all of us can do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Hey, Dream Journey 1. Used to love singing the Schoolhouse Rock in the Planet Janet to my son when he was little. Great name. As a comment. I thought that was a question.
Oh, that's cute.
It's so cute. Yes, Dream Journey 1. I love it. Love it. All right. Let me get to Rose Blue. Starseed. Been told, I guess, that the tall cat, please, people. I think I came through the Lionsgate portal born early for a reason. Hey, Rose Blue. Okay. For me personally, I think everybody's a starseed because I think we all have starseed DNA. Some of us more than others, and I think the ones that are coming out now are the ones being activated. So I feel we're all starseeds. How do you feel about that, Val?
I totally agree. I don't know anyone who isn't.
Right. So yeah, and I just think the ones, especially like here, we're all together making us stronger, being able to talk about these things without people looking at us like we're weird or disbelieving what we're saying, that we're all together trying to support each other through this journey. So let's see. She's been told she guessed that tall cat. What was PPL for? What was that?
People, tall cat people, planet. I think that's what she says.
Yeah, like the Lyrans.
Like Lyrans, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Lyrans. Rose Blue Lyrans are spelled Lyrans. There's a lot about them. In fact, I've had a lot of interactions with them. And the Lyrans, it was back, I think it was in November or October of last year, that the Lyrans showed up saying they're all here beside all the light workers now, standing beside us. All of us had a Lyran guide now that are helping us through, supporting us through all these things that we're going through, and so we can help others. And they're very prominent now. And so coming through the Lionsgate portal, I would say let's see, that was in August, right? That was in August.
Yeah. And August.
It might be where you might have become aware of that, but the Lyrans, as I said, back in, I think it was November, that said they were all here. That all of us now have one that is helping us. So, and I had kind of dismissed the Lyrans until then. I was going, I mean, I'd had a guide and I'd had Lyrans, I had met Lyrans, but that was when I didn't realize how prominent, how all of a sudden they were here. They are here to help the earth ascend and helping us help others.
Yeah, and it's funny. I agree with you about that, and I really hadn't given thought to the Lyrans much until I did the Lionsgate activation meditation. I kind of downloaded it, and what I was shown are lions, but they were Lyrans, and they actually come with you, and they actually work with you. So you're going up to the Lion's Gate, but you don't realize you're coming back with all of your support, and the Lyrans are there to work with you. And so that's a powerful and beautiful thing. I love that idea. And Rose Blue, for you, I got contact. Yeah, contact. And here is the light code for contact. And this is what they say about that. The energy of contact allows you to feel that all doors to your inner source will open when you surrender and go with the flow like water. Everything opens. Go with the flow like water.
Yeah. Also, the Lyrans have different looks to them. I've met the ones that look like cat-like, and then also I know most people probably have seen the movie Avatar. Those blue beings were Lyrans, which I didn't know that until I moved to Mount Shasta, and they came to me, and it was a Lyran, and she was probably about 7 or 8 feet tall, and she was blue, and she had burgundy hair, and so
wow, striking.
Yes, it was amazing. Yeah, so Lyrans look different. So just ask them when you have a guide or whatever who's beside you, who is it or what they look like. If you feel the energy or if you see them or whatever, either way, feeling it, but they're around you. They're around all the light workers right now. So, all right, let's see who we got next. All right, Liz Daly, do I work with you aliens? If so, what do I do? Thank you. All right. Liz Daly, do you work with, I'm going to say, do you work with aliens? I'm getting no, you don't. You don't work with aliens. You're actually working with the elementals. And I'm seeing the elementals that you're working with, which the elementals are connected with, especially the Lemurians. So you have a strong connection to the Lemurians, and it is through the elementals. But I'm seeing you as a fairy. I'm seeing you having that connection to the fairies. So, yeah,
love that.
That's what. Yeah, go ahead.
That's awesome. And I have your. This is your divine blueprint. So our divine blueprint as a creation of divine source, original blueprint. Here it is.
It's pretty card.
And then, yeah, it really is. We all have our blueprint, our own program that we took with us. I can hardly read this. We took with us to this life on earth in order to become fully balanced. We will have to return to our most basic program so that we can follow the right path all the way from scratch. I don't really agree with the right path.
Yeah.
But the energy of blueprint helps you clean your programs and delete what no longer suits you and what no longer serves a purpose. The person who wrote this is from Scandinavia, and I think just in the transition from that language to this, that language probably got a little altered.
Have you noticed that your book and these cards, how colorful and how beautiful they are? And the Arcturians, as I said, even their spaceship's beautiful, with the colors, things like that. Yeah.
That's self-respect, for instance. And look at how beautiful and colorful. And it's almost like a scarab with feathers and and these remind me of crop circles in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, the information that is in there, encoded, embedded. So there's a lot of information. And this blueprint here helps you delete programs that no longer suit you and what is no longer serves a purpose for you. And so basically that's what we're all doing here, right, Dr. Gail? We are letting go of the old programming and the old programming system of 3D, moving to fourth and fifth dimension and beyond, because that is our evolution. It isn't something that we have to strain to do. It's happening. Just let it happen.
Okay. Hey, Priscilla from the Chrome Zone. Thanks for joining us today. We've got one last question we're going to take. We're almost at an hour here, and I'm sorry we have not gotten to everybody. It is. We have quite a few questions here, and the next person we have is Mariel's Perfect Health. There you go. Should you take questions? Who is my galactic family? Do they have a message for me? Thanks, Dr. Gail. Okay, who's my galactic family? I'm getting Andromeda. Let me make sure about that. Andromeda. Yes, the Andromedans is your star family. And Val, I'll let you give the message.
I feel that is so accurate. And as soon as I saw your name, that's what popped up. So I think that Andromedan energy is very much in your vibration. And this is connectedness, or connection rather. So look at this this isn't a blueprint. This is a light code, a coded message embedded with what you need to know about connection. The energy helps you to connect your heart with your higher self. Listen to this inner wisdom. And I think all your Andromedan connections will be present for you as all you have to do is stop the video later and print off a copy or take a picture with your phone, and all of you will have each of your coded patterns to look at.
Yeah, when you said that, first thing I thought was she is a communicator.
Yeah.
These different things, all these different either planets, star systems, beings. It looked like to me that she is like connected to all of them, that she is a communicator.
I would say so. And I think she'll have that remembrance. I just cut the cards and it went to remembrance. So you are going to remember this. And you notice this is kind of like communication.
Yeah.
It's communicating. And here's the inner circle of communication, blue, the throat chakra. It's all about your job to really take that information and shift it down into language that we can all understand. And that isn't an easy thing
Yeah.
at all. Good luck.
All right. Well, there you go. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. Val, love it every time you're here. Thanks for bringing in some more Arcturian energy. So, all right. And what is going on with your channel at this time?
You know, I have Sisters of the Mystical Tarot next, and tomorrow is Messages for Lightworkers and Golden Girls. And I think that's it because I leave for vacation on Friday.
Friday. How long are you going to be gone?
I'm going to be gone for 18 days.
Ooh, okay. All right, everybody. Sorry we didn't get to all your questions, but thanks for joining us today. And I will probably be back on Saturday. I'm not sure about what my show is right now, but I will see y'all Saturday. All right. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.